All right. So the other day, I was telling you about the beautiful mother, single mom that mm, this spouse that I have right now saw at the library, and I got cut off on that video, so I'm going to tell you about her. Sure, she's beautiful. She's a single mom. She's at the library, and this is what I wrote. Daniel, I used to think there were no visible gangs or hoodlums in Florida because of the heat. I mean, I remember my stepdad telling me and pointing out that anytime he walked out the door in Chicago, there was somebody standing around, like a group of three, four guys. And on some of those days, it was cold, and they were still out there. But over here, for some reason, you look around back and forth, and there's nobody out here. It's too hot. All right, but another reason that there are no hoodlums here, and this is on the comment that the single mom, she went back to Chile and she saw too much delinquency over there, or people standing around, and when you're accustomed to not seeing anybody standing around in the corners, uh, it's a culture shock when you go back to your country. All right, so but now I think that it's also because that there's nobody standing around, because there are no little stores to rob at every corner like in Honduras. Over here there's just one big mall or one big superstore, and you see the video cameras all over the place. Target, Publix, Walmart. Now in Honduras, on a Friday, I saw one cop car. It was a pickup truck. Maybe there were two soldiers. I don't remember anymore. But I remember that the one in the back had not a machine gun, maybe a rifle. Maybe it was a machine gun. I didn't pay that much attention. It's a culture shock because I was the passenger, and this guy lived in Honduras, and he had to get to the bank. And it was just like over here where I goofed up. There were two banks, Ficosa, Ficenza, and to me they both sounded the same. So he couldn't find any parking. There were people walking in front of his car. It would be horrible for me to drive in that condition because it's a stick shift. There are people walking in front of your car. The car in front of you is beeping at the other car. It's chaos. So about this guy, well, he said, I just have to make a deposit. I just have to make one simple deposit. 2 pieces of paper and boom, that's all. I said, that's it? Now I was 23 years old, and I said, well, I'll deposit it. That's it. That's the bank right there. He said, yeah, that's it. Now, right next door to each other was another bank. So I made the line to the wrong bank. When I get there to deposit it, they said, this is for the other bank. When I get out and I go to the other bank, meanwhile the man is circling the block. They told me I can't get in, that it's closed. So then I came back with such a simple mission. I couldn't accomplish it. And the guy ended up calling his friend, which was the bank president, but he didn't want to answer the phone. But it was, I'm not laughing for the guy's problem. I'm laughing that it was such a difficult thing to do, just to make a little bank deposit. But again, all I saw was the police pickup truck going around back and forth, and they only went around the banks. That was the only reason. They just circled the bank on Friday with horrible traffic. Hi, Snowball, come on up here and say hello to the... Hello, my friend. Hey, go away, go away. I love you. Alright, so Daniel, I wrote this down. I think this single mom divorced her husband because she is like me. She's energetic. She would play ball with the kids. She was happy, and her husband was serious. Even when he was home, she used to tell me at the park, because eventually you become friends with all of these people that they do the same things you do, but their husbands and wives don't, you know? Even when he was home, he didn't want to be a dad and play with his kids. He would just ignore them and do something on the computer. And for the little one, he would pick her up, hold her on his knee, and he would keep working on his stuff on the computer. So that was a lousy dad. Now, of course, 1,000 people out here could say, hey, that guy has a job. You know, you don't, Daniel. Yeah, he has a job, but he's a lousy dad. All right. Then I wrote, I, Daniel, don't go for her because I would lose my time with my son if I got divorced. And I'm too busy with my son to work. And this hot mama would probably throw me out for not working. I mean, she threw out her husband because he didn't play with the kids. And all I do is play with the kids, but I don't work. So she would probably throw me out. Now, the spouse I have right now, this one, she was, just this morning I saw her, and she was shuffling her feet like she didn't want to go to work. And I asked her, do you walk like that at work? And she said, she doesn't answer me, by the way, she just kept walking. Alright, so this spouse, she doesn't throw me out because she knows my son would suffer. And there's a neighbor using a hammer there. And she knows that I'm a great babysitter for the kids. Even a school teacher one time told this spouse, the one I have right now, when the teacher found out that he is the dad, she recognized me. Well, she finally made the connection. She saw me with the two kids. When she found out that I was the father of my two kids, now she sees me every day, right? You see people every day, but he is the dad of these two kids you have? Now I know why your two kids are so smart. And the only thing I could come up with is that every day after school, it was so hot. I used to carry a wet towel and put it on top of my head, and I was the only dad doing that. You know? And over my shoulders, I used to have a towel just covering me up, you know, at least from the sideburn, and well, I would get the full blast of the sun from the front view, but oh, I was the only dad that got up and that. Alright, so I did look weird, but the other activities I used to do, I used to go to breakfast, I used to go to lunch, I used to go to I was probably the only dad at the little meetings they had for, like, read to your children. I remember one mom, she said, do you date your daughter? And I said, no, but I'll start dating my daughter now. Basically doing something, you know, like playing with dolls or something. You know? I mean, this is going back a few years. So, yeah. And I remember I was probably the only dad there. I know that after school I was the only dad walking home with my two kids. You know? And then I had a third one, the neighbors, for a while, and a fourth, only for a little brief moments in time here. But I was the only dad walking home, and it was, well, another weird thing I used to do, I gave away my bicycle because I said to myself, Daniel, you have an ingenious idea. If you give away your bicycle, then your wife will finally have to go bike riding with the kids. But would you believe she still refused to go bike riding, this spouse? So what ended up happening is I gave away my bicycle, and I ended up riding her smaller bicycle with a tiny bicycle seat for 2 years with my kids. And that would hurt my bottom, my what do you call that? I don't know what you call that part of your body, but where I sit, buttocks, and that one backfired on me. So for 2 years I had to ride her bicycle because she wouldn't ride it. She still wouldn't go with the kids. It's too hot, I'm not going. Make them ride it up front. I'm like, what? Jeez. Yeah. She used to get me upset with some of her suggestions. Back and forth between the mailbox and the driveway. I mean, well, or the corner and the. Come on. Go ride it through the trail, or ride it where you get the wind. That, you know, ride your bike. Not who wants to drive a car just from the stop sign to the other stop sign at the end of the block. Yeah. So that's the only reason she did buy me a new bicycle for $20 from an old man. He had some sort of bicycle shop from his home. He told me that since he was a senior citizen, he used to go buy the bicycles from hospice on the senior citizen discount day. All right. So this spouse, she ended up buying 4 bicycles from him. All of them have a flat tire right now, except my son's, my daughter's, but my daughter won't let me use it, and the spouse's. Alright, so only 2 bicycles have a flat tire, and those are the 2 that I use, but she hasn't bought me well, they need tires too, not just, they're old, so they need tires, not just inner tubes. Alright, be a better dad than I am. Take care of yourself. Another married guy, he told me years ago, a relative, he said, just love the one you have, because if you get divorced, well, I was working when he told me, then they take all the money. And that happened to him. He lost his kids in the divorce, and he had to pay alimony. So my thinking back then was, well, if I don't work, there's no way I'm going to be required to pay alimony. In fact, she would have to pay me alimony because I haven't worked practically in 7 years. Boy, that cat wants to go inside. All right, talk to you later. Enjoy your life.